Hey, coming up right now, Gen Z is giving older workers a little run for their money when it comes to sick days at work.
Also coming up, the CEO of a major American car company is caught driving a foreign-made car. Why he doesn't care about the criticism.
All right, a little bit later on, movie fans of When Harry Met Sally are calling out actor Billy Crystal for a dumb move.
Dumb move.
Dumb move.
Daily Flash starts right now.
I'll have what she's having.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Everybody, I'm Andrea Jackson.
And I'm Mitch English, and this is Daily Flash. Woo! Yay, everybody!
Round of applause.
We are happy to be here. Our crew's excited as well, and so is Matt the Hat Doolittle. How are you, baby?
Good. I love that you guys have the Billy Crystal thing coming up. You know that Saturday Night movie that came out?
Yes,
that I loved about the whole thing. So when Jason Reitman was looking to write it, he was trying to find an original script from that night when they did it back in '71. They couldn't find it. Nobody had one. Billy Crystal, who got cut from the show that night, is the only one that had an original script, and he gifted it to Jason so he could go through it because it had all the show notes, exact blocking, everything for that. He was the only one that kept the script, and he's the one that got cut that night, which is insane.
And he looked marvelous.
He's got a new show on Apple TV.
Totally different. It's not comedy at all.
No, it's kind of dark matter-ish.
It's he's a psychiatrist, I believe,
Yes.
and a boy tells a story to him, and it kind of unfolds. I haven't watched it yet, but I definitely want to.
But I will. So, Facebook Marketplace, have you bought anything off of
I
Facebook?
sold a lot of things on it,
You have?
yes.
Okay. If you sold something and you realize you shouldn't have sold it, would you call or reach out to that person and ask for it back?
No. Well, would I? It depends on how big it was or like how important it was,
So
I guess.
check this out. This woman does a lot of furniture rehab. So she'll buy furniture pieces on Facebook Marketplace. She'll get them and then she'll rehab the furniture and then resell it for gobs of money. So this guy sold a dresser. She bought it. She starts working on it. She rehabs it. The husband of the woman calls her and says, "That was my wife's dresser. She's been crying for days. Is there any way I can get the dresser back from you?" And the woman's like, "I've already put time and money and work into it. I'm about to sell it. If you want to buy it, you can buy it." And he's like, "No, I just want you to give it back to me."
No.
Yeah.
He's buying this thing back.
So they ended up making a deal and they bought the dresser back from her after she rehabbed the whole thing.
Yeah, she put effort into it.
Yes.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
I wonder about that. Like, I was waiting to see like there was some kind of recipe in it, and he wanted it hidden inside it. I think all deals are final, and if it did get to a case, it would be, hey, you're gonna have to pay for it, maybe a little bit extra of my time as well.
Yeah, it's like buyer beware, right? I mean, or buyer know that you're buying something, and the seller beware, I guess I should say. If you're going to sell something on Facebook Marketplace, you're selling it, and it's usually a done deal.
And
Final sale.
I can tell you this: if you put firm, let's say $100 firm, it's firm. Don't say, will you take 75? No, I'm not going to take 75. I said firm because otherwise I would have put $125 up and you would have offered me $100 for it, and then I would have got what I wanted, but I didn't want to deal with that. So I said,
I love that people are, well, there's like a chip there, and there's like, it's a used piece of furniture.
That's why, especially furniture. And you always normally, or the last week, can you deliver it? No, I can't deliver it. I'm not delivering, so you can say and do that to me while I got it there? No.
Exactly.
You're meeting me at the Buffalo Wild Wings parking lot, and that's final.
That's fine.
That's it.
Exactly. Beware of that. I know that more and more police stations are actually offering places for you to be able to do this
It's a great drop-off exchange.
So think about that as well. We jump into some trending stories here. It looks like Gen Z is missing one workday every week because of their health. A recent survey from a life insurance company found that Gen Z employees in the UK actually lost an average of 54 productive days every year. And when they did clock into work, many admit they were not really operating at their peak. So what's driving these sick days? Well, experts say right behind that research is mental health. Non-productive or missed days of work have actually cost the British economy more than $178 million. Here in the United States, Gen Z employees admit to ditching work for a mental health day and take the most sick days compared to other generations as well. And I literally had this discussion this morning because we were talking about the election, how where my wife works, she said there's a lot of people that are taking off mental health days because of what's happened in the election. I'm like, I don't get it. It's like, that's stress. That's what's happening in life.
Right.
And her argument was, which I truly believe it, if your company offers mental health days, okay, that's one thing. But to call in sick when you're really not, or if it's a big thing going on, then that's a different story. But if they offer that, okay.
Yeah, I think that's important. Obviously, mental health is a big concern in this country that we don't spend a lot of time talking about. So the fact that these employers are offering that as a mental health day, but to request one for a day after the Super Bowl or an election.
That should be a national holiday.
That should be a national holiday.
I'm with you
on
do it
that
on
one.
a Saturday.
I just don't understand it. I mean, part of life is you have good days and you have bad days.
That's part of what
my dad liked to say, you're either the bug or the windshield.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like, it's just going to happen. So, and part of it is picking yourself up and moving on.
And
you didn't get the result you liked. You're not having the best day, or your team didn't win, or whatever. It's just deal with it.
People have to understand that that's where you grow through adversity. You have to have, things have to be difficult in order for you to learn something. And, I've gone through many things like that. And it took me a long time of going through things, realizing, all right, I know on the other side of this, I'm going to learn something. I'm going to be a better person. And I think that's what kind of created me to be a better person than I was 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago.
The wisdom of Mitch.
Wisdom of Mitch, if you will. So get ready for it. It's going to happen.
It is.
You can't hide from it. So just be ready for it.
I say welcome it. It's good.
It'll help you through the next one.
I think so.
So keep that in mind.
Ford CEO is under fire for driving a $30,000 Chinese-made EV. What?
All right.
And it's not going over well with Detroit auto workers. You think? The top Ford exec says he does not care what people think and has no plans to stop driving his Chinese-made car. The vehicle is available, or unavailable, I should say, for purchase in the U.S. The federal government has put a 100% tariff on Chinese-made cars, making them too expensive to import. And experts say the Chinese EV does not meet U.S. safety standards for imports.
So I'm wondering, is this... I don't know, back scratching, I guess. Like you could say maybe they're trying to work out a deal. I wonder if there's more to this, because it seems like if you're going to buy a car, a $30,000 car, which is now a $60,000 car because of the tariffs. But what is he? Is he trying to make a deal with this company? So like these under the table deals or something. That's what goes through my mind.
Having been in Detroit for a little bit, that is a big no-no.
Right?
If you drive anything but a Ford, Chevy, or Dodge in Detroit, you are side-eyed. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing with that here?
Yes.
You don't do that here. You do not do that in Detroit at all.
It's almost like that you lose a bet.
Right. It's almost like, and God forbid you drive a Toyota, right? Wasn't that the kind of thing you'd never drive
Japanese
a Toyota
cars in
Detroit?
You see one in Detroit, you know that guy's from out of town.
There you go. All righty. Second?
Our EP James is saying if you drive a foreign vehicle in Detroit, they will punch your tires out.
No, if you are in Detroit, they will punch your.
Yeah, let's just do that.
Let's just say that.
And James is from Detroit. So
he's from D-Town. Yeah, he's from Motor City.
There he is.
That's where there he is. He's very happy, James. We had to move him in there and gave him a promotion. I saw.
How are his tires looking?
I don't know. But if his mama drops off food and not for us, I'm going to be slicing his tires.
Seriously.
Did you guys notice that?
Yeah, I saw that. You remember that big old
styrofoam? His mom dropped off food.
Oh, yeah. She does that all the time for us. Yes.
She needs to bring in food for us. I'm just joking.
I used to go to a school with a gal. Her mom would bring her McDonald's Happy Meals at lunch, which was torture for the rest of the class.
Oh, that's mean.
You walk in and you smell that, and you're
fries.
like,
go eat it in the car.
Yes,
And then,
into the classroom.
No, that's not cool.
My parents stink, man. They never do something like that. All right, here's one thing that's crystal clear. That iconic sweater worn by Harry Burns is lost to the ages. Yeah, comedian Billy Crystal says he is no longer has his character's iconic chunky white knit sweater from the 1989 movie When Harry Met Sally. He thinks he donated it to the UCLA's theater department with some other movie wardrobes. When Harry Met Sally follows the story of two friends who continue to toy with the idea of getting romantically involved, but fear will ruin their friendship. That's the one that we're talking about.
Yes.
Which actually came back. I never would have lost style. Now that's the one he's wearing where he's older. It doesn't look like the same kind.
No, not the same
but
sweater.
similar.
Well, they didn't start archiving like artifacts like that in movies until like the late 80s almost. That's why a lot of them were lost. Like they found the Bruce from Jaws in some guy's tree
Is
at
that
an
right?
auto
Really?
place. Yeah, they didn't start finding this stuff till the late 80s, and then they started archiving it and everything. So they would just throw it away or reuse it or repurpose it.
What happened, people, is they realize, we can make money off this if we keep it. So,
Right. They're
that's
auctioning
interesting.
those valuables off.
Indeed.
Yeah.
We got today's Trends Tomorrow's Talk. We have more of it coming up right around the corner here, so you don't want to move out or move anywhere out of that as well.
Chunky white knit cable sweaters for everybody for Christmas.
I would love
What do
that.
you
It
think?
Looks good.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, it's never really lost style.
No, it hasn't.
Stick around. You're watching Daily Flash.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Andrea Jackson. Our next guest, leadership expert and author John St. James, has a new book. It's called The Master's Path. And in it, he says that to live a fulfilling and successful life, you need to stay focused and stick with it for the long haul. John joins us from Atlanta to talk about the book and more. John, welcome to Daily Flash.
Well, thank you, Andrea. I appreciate it. It's great to be here.
So there are no quick fixes in life. We know this. And you have 5 essentials for people who have decided to create a better life for themselves. Let's start with the first one. You say proper perspective.
Yes, that's right. So, proper perspective. I have found over the years working with all kinds of clients that, your perspective truly determines your potential. And what I mean by that is simply this. How you see things determines what you see. So really, what I have found to be true is that people that have a proper perspective, to be happy, joyful, to be fulfilled, to be a great leader. I've come to learn that you've really got to have a positive mindset, number one, and then a future orientation. Okay, so we call this the growth mindset. Somebody who has goal orientation, somebody who has action orientation, somebody who wants to do well. They're constantly wanting to learn. And the Japanese term for this is kaizen, for constant and never-ending improvement.
You also say, find your sacred purpose.
Yeah, so really, that's the sacred purpose is really what drives us. And I'll use another Japanese term. It's called ikigai. And so ikigai is really finding your passion. It's your mission. It's the thing that you love to do, that you do well. It's a thing that, you could get paid for. It's a thing that the world actually needs. Now, when you find that, I call it your calling. When you find your calling and something you love and you have a passion for, then you really have found happiness, joy, and fulfillment. And so with that, your purpose really is what drives you. It's your meaning. It brings meaning to your life.
It's tapping into that vein of gold, that passion that is a struggle for so many people. You also say living with passion is part of it.
So no doubt. So, we just mentioned passion. We were talking about ikigai. Your passion really is the fuel that drives the race car, right? So when I think of anybody that's passionate about what they do, certain things come to mind, right? They're energetic. They're enthusiastic. They're eager. They're excited to learn. They're excited to get started. So somebody who has passion will take their life journey and they will make the very most out of it because they are in love with what they do.
And you say keeping with it, sticking to it, it's all about perseverance.
Yeah, right. No doubt. So I learned that on my way to becoming a 9th degree black belt and the head of the International Martial Arts Organization. So, we all start with the old saying, right? All winners start as beginners. So here's what I know. When we start, we're usually not very good at something. But the more we do it, the more we learn, the more we grow, the more we share, the more we serve, the more we learn to lead and build teams, the more expertise and authority we have, the more inspirational we will be. So finding your inspiration, building yourself first before you try to build others, this all falls into sticking with it long enough to become great at it. I call it Mastering the Path, which is my book.
Mastering, it's perfect. And John, how important are people skills when it comes to all of this?
I would say critical if you want to build a team. And so here's what I know. By yourself, you can only do so much, right? But when you build a team of leaders and you surround yourself with leaders, what you can do is absolutely unbelievable. So to me, having a high-end communication skills, being able to recognize, acknowledge, and encourage your team, being able to build a team in the first place. But when you are using empathy and you're a compassionate individual that really wants to help people learn, grow, share, serve, lead, and inspire, you will eventually get to what we call happiness, joy, and fulfillment.
John St. James, terrific information, inspirational to talk to you. I'm already feeling motivated by the Master's Path. His book is called The Master's Path. masterspathconsulting.com is the website. That's where you can go for more information. Mitch, we'll send it on over to you.
Well, thank you there, Jackson. A little trending news, if you will. You probably remember this. 5 years ago, it was a art installation called Comedian, basically an art piece, and it featured a banana that was just duct taped to a wall. Remember that?
Yes.
Could fetch $1.5 million when it goes up for auction. Not lying. And it's not even an original. I'll explain in a second. The winning bidder actually is going to receive a certificate of authenticity from the artist, even though it actually won't be the original banana from the Miami show.
Not the original banana.
Not the original banana. In 2019, the artist created 3 editions of Comedian for the Miami show. It was called Art Basil. 3 bananas were purchased for display, I believe, for 20 cents each
3 bananas.
at a local grocery store. 2 of those works sold for $120,000, while the third piece was donated to the Guggenheim Museum. Well, now Comedian is going on a global tour, being shown at the Sotheby's galleries all around the world ahead of the auction. It sounds like it got fame because it got fame. I'm sorry,
Art
I said
Basel.
Basil. What did I say? Basil?
I think you said basil. Yeah,
Basil,
but it's okay.
basil. I was saying, I know
Call the whole
the
thing off.
British people call the plant
Basil.
basil. And I'm not English, but my last name is.
Art
so I'm
Basel.
trying to get out of that. Listen, no, that's not what's idiotic. Idiotic is that somebody would pay $1.5 million
For an old banana.
for an old banana that was just duct taped. And again, art is subjective.
Yes.
So some people might call that art. Those people call me, and I will bring you a bunch of bananas, and I'll charge you half of that much.
And a roll of duct tape.
A roll of duct tape, right.
And I'll leave you to it.
Yeah. Do you remember there was one guy that actually he said, it's my art piece, and it was supposed to be invisible. And then the museum sued him, and they said, no, he told you that's what it was, and it was.
I remember going to a museum and seeing a sink drain in the wall, and it was a $2 million
Stop.
art
Stop it.
installation. We're in the wrong business.
We are. Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English along with Andrea Jackson, Matt Doolittle. Cookie Monster has just gone over the moon now that Subway has introduced a holiday cookie that's big enough to stuff a stocking.
Woo.
The double chocolate peppermint footlong cookie was just added to the menu and will be available through the end of the year. And if you're counting calories, the gooey chocolate delight comes with a whopping 1,330 calories.
Woo.
And that is more than half the recommended calories for most adult. Now, fans who have tried say, you know what, it's worth every single bite and fits perfectly in that stocking. So put your cookie in the stocking. And show your love. I know nobody wrote that at all. I don't know.
Banana in the tailpipe.
I know. Put the banana in the tailpipe. Yeah.
What is it? Put the lotion in the basket?
Put the lotion in the basket, banana in the tailpipe, and the cookie in the stocking. Yeah.
We got it. Starbucks new CEO, Brian Nichols, says the coffee chain plans to buy about 200,000 Sharpies to help turn things around.
Uh-oh.
He is betting on the personal touch and wants employees to start writing customers' names or messages back on those cups again. Companies reported declining sales for three straight quarters. Some customers think the coffee chain has drifted a little bit too far from its core. Starbucks has nearly 17,000 locations across the U.S. Other changes coming to cafes include a streamlined menu, a self-serve condiment bar for coffees, and doing away with extra charges for non-dairy orders.
That's a big deal.
Starbucks has been through 4 CEOs since 2022. Nichol was hired away from Chipotle, where he was able to turn things around after a food safety crisis back in 2018 for that chain.
I want to be there when he pitched the idea. Listen, this is going to save the company. We're going to have Sharpies back into the We're like,
We're bringing back the
We're bringing Sharpies back. Apparently, this is what a CEO of Starbucks in the Seattle area sounds like. I like the personal touch. I think, now the reason why they got rid of them is everything was computer printed with your name on there as well. I cannot wait till they misspell my name.
That's the best part of it.
That
It's
is.
sort
No,
of
it
like
really
a rite
is.
of passage. Your name gets misspelled at Starbucks.
It's a thing. In fact, that joke went away because they went to the printout
It's
of
no
it.
fun because you get that plastic white tag on the thing, and it's like, well, all right.
The barista should like this that work there because you get something printed out. You're thinking, well, really, all you're doing is a machine is making the thing. If it gives it a little bit of a personal touch, you feel like, okay, this is your drink that they made, which is in fact that's what it is. But
I also think they're making a good point here. A lot of people complain that they weren't able to go and mix their own cream and sugar and all that. They had that creamer bar, for lack of a better term. They put that all behind the counter. Now they're going to move it back so people have a little bit more freedom to mix up their coffees.
And I think that had something to do with the pandemic.
It did, I think, yeah.
Which I understand. They're in little tiny packs of sugar because I got to have my sugar in the raw. I'm like, I don't know how any kind of disease is going to make it through because I can't even open it up right. Anyway.
I do think there's something else too to the menu because I don't know about you, but when I go to a restaurant, if they're serving burgers and Greek food and Chinese and spaghetti, you're doing way too many things and you're not doing one thing really good.
Keep it simple.
Starbucks has great coffee, and then they should stick with simpler, more streamlined menu, which is what they plan to do.
Well, if you look at the history of fast food, it was always keep it simple.
Yes.
And I think companies have blossomed from it, but it's also you always have FOMO when you go to Cheesecake Factory because of the catalog.
But don't you order the same thing every time you go?
Every single time I order the exact same. I know shepherd's pie is what I'm going to get. Chicken marsala, what are you?
Salmon with the broccoli and the
so
fries.
you know what
I know,
it is.
Exactly. Every time.
You're going to go through the whole thing and go, baby.
Which, by the way, I don't know if you know it, but it's such so many people read. It's a #1 bestseller already. The catalog. When there is ads in your menu, it's too big. So keep that in
40
mind.
pages of glossy food. That's all it is. Yeah.
Indeed, that somebody else just had in their hands too. So keep that in mind. We stay on the restaurant business. And this one, though, got a little something extra. There's a German pizzeria busted after investigators said they were delivering pies with a side order of, the devil's dandruff. Little sugar booger stuff happening, right? Police said that a restaurant would provide the drugs when customers asked for the number 40 on the menu.
Number 40.
No word on what listed menu price was for the number 40, but cops were tipped off about the operation, eventually arrested 3 people, including a 22-year-old ringleader. So when they got the number 40, you knew that it was, having your drugs delivered to your house too, which is a big difference if you think about it. But you'd open up and there you'd have the little extra surprise.
Gives new meaning to DoorDash.
DoorDash, yes, for sure.
I'll take the number 40.
I'll take that number 40 and I'll write my name on it. A New York City deli has taken on a Big Apple classic with its Totally Donuts. Those in the know in Manhattan, Best Deli and Grill can order their famous breakfast sandwich featuring bacon, egg, and cheese on a jelly donut, which I think James's mom dropped off this morning. The traditional morning sandwich is usually served with a side of jelly, but the jelly donut, well, that just takes it to
it's too much.
whole new level.
Too much.
I've seen that. Didn't they call this the Luther? Because Luther Vandross, he make a hamburger, didn't he, with donuts?
Hamburger between donuts and
Krispy
cheese.
Kreme.
Oh,
and all
yes,
that stuff,
that's right.
Which is, I think that's way over the top.
It is over the top. But that's what they know. If it has somebody walking in the door to try it, well, they've already won you over at least one time as well. Stick around. We have more Flash.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hello, everybody. I am Mitch English.
And I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash, your source for trending news and entertainment.
Very happy to have you here, and we're going to continue today's trends and tomorrow's talk. And men, like I'm about to tell you about, are phenomenal people. First off, when you have a name like Anton Newtonboom,
Oh, I love it.
You're destined for greatness,
Do you
right?
imagine marrying him? Mrs. Newton.
Are you from the Dutch Newton Brooms? Yeah, actually, I am. He is actually, he's a 37-year-old Dutch Army vet. I'm going to tell you about Anton. He wanted to raise awareness for men's mental health. Okay. So he said, he's actually won some Guinness World Records. He said, I'm going to walk from LA to New York, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
But he's going to do it barefoot. Oh. And he did it. And so one of the things, it's total of over 3,000 miles. He had to walk from LA to New York barefoot, was not allowed, if he wanted to get the world's record, not allowed to put Band-Aids on his toes or anything. He had to stay and remain barefoot the entire time.
Oh my goodness.
Raised $92,000 for that. And I'd say that's a man, first off, that you can dedicate your life like that. And obviously, being a Dutch Army vet kind of, I guess, taught him some discipline and that sort of thing. That's interesting, right?
I wonder what motivated him to decide to do a walk barefoot from LA to New York.
What do you do? They say there is something about walking barefoot outside, like you connect with the earth. Especially if you have the people.
Grounding is what it is. My wife makes us do it after our walks.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, after we get done, she's like, take your shoes off and we stand in the grass for a minute, and it's called grounding.
And the energy is supposed to be able to.
See that.
So you kind of wonder maybe that might have something to do with it, but it does evolve around mental health and that grounding.
But then when you step in the fire ant pile, that's when it all kind of comes to an end.
Not good at all.
Not good at all. No, not at all. Gen Z is missing one work day every week because of their health. A recent survey from a life insurance company found that Gen Z employees in the UK lost an average of 54 productive days every year. And when they did clock into work, many admit they were not operating at their peak. So what's driving these sick days? Experts behind the research say it's mental health. Non-productive or missed days of work have cost the British economy more than $178 million. And the U.S. Gen Z employees admit to ditching work for mental health days and take the most sick days compared to their older co-workers.
And it gets, I guess, frustrating, but I almost don't blame it. If we think about the last 4 years, there was a big convergence of moving to working out of the home, which kind of gave you a lot of freedom, and it also gave you, like, as far as work space goes, and everybody's kind of enjoy it. And there is something that when you go into work mentally, you're there, you're in work. At least for me, I feel like I'm I'm in my work mode right now, and it was very difficult for me to get in that work mode when the pandemic first started. So I kind of wonder how that has affected them, because and I say Gen X, we're Gen X, is that we've had to experience that, but they're at that age where they're moving in to the workforce.
I don't know about you, but working from home, it's a total luxury, but I get so distracted. I can't get a darn thing done. Like, I start out and I'm like, okay, I'll have a cup of coffee. And then I'm like, oh, let me watch what's on TV. And then I'm like, then the doorbell rings and then the dogs need a walk. And I love the idea.
There was also a push over the last few years. I think the generation prior, even if you had PTO or these 6 days, no one would take them. Because they would like, oh, if I take a day off, someone's going to replace me. They wouldn't take all their vacation.
That's a great point.
And then it's gotten to a point where they're like, no, you have to take your vacation. Like, employers started going, you are taking these days off. Like, use them, please.
It's almost like use it or lose it. If you don't take your paid time off.
Well, they stopped allowing you to roll them over or pay you at the end of the year for not using them. So they forced you to take them.
I've left 2 jobs, I think, where I had a bunch. I think I had like 2 weeks. I say bunch, but that's a whole paycheck, that extra paycheck that I got at the end after I left the company.
Well, what do you think of the reation to the Amazon CEO saying everybody's coming back into the office? We're done with the work at home.
I think there is a different mentality, and there's also a group. There's something missing on Zoom meetings. But when you have all the people in the room, going back to energy, maybe we should take our shoes off and stand in the grass and have our meetings. Maybe we can all get that together. But I think there is something to it. I really do feel that there is something. And plus, they have the buildings. They're like, what are we doing with these buildings?
That economy of going to lunch and the neighborhood deli, all important factors. All right, stay with us. We're back right after this.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Daily Flash. It's time to get on the scene. This week, Doreen is chatting it up with Tony Avallone. He's the director and co-writer of the new documentary, The House From.
Today on The Scene with Doreen, I got to sit down with Tommy Avallone, the director and co-writer of one of the hottest documentaries in the country right now, The House From. He explores what it's like to live in one of the iconic homes from TV and movies, and so much more. Check it out.
What if you lived in a famous house? A house that is extremely well known for appearing on a television show or in a movie. For many people who visit the house from their favorite TV show, it can feel like they're part of the show. For the homeowner,
people would come and take fixings off the house.
It can feel like trespassing.
Oh my God. You're walking in the footsteps of history.
Nostalgia means homesickness or a longing for a place that felt like home.
The house from.
Congrats on winning Best Documentary at Kevin Smith's Modcastle Film Festival.
Yeah, that was exciting. No, I'm a huge fan of Kevin Smith. You know, some of my early, movie locations I would go see would be Quick Stop and RST Video. So it does feel very full circle. I took the award, and when driving back, I went to the Quick Stop and RST Video and took a picture outside. So it was a lot of fun. Going to movie locations is always sort of my thing, and I used to work in Philadelphia, and I would walk by Real History, like, the Liberty Bell or Ben Franklin's grave, and I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Anytime I would go to Los Angeles, I was like, I could go to the Wonder Years house or the Freddy Krueger house.
Yeah.
That was the history that I always was into.
Right.
So, showing up with a camera and asking someone if we could film was a logical next step. So I've always been into, movie locations.
Yeah, well, like you said, now you can pee in the full house.
Yeah. I've urinated in so many different locations. It's a dream I didn't know I had.
See, now how many people can say that? That alone is worth the movie.
We're at the Golden Girls house. Isn't this cool? Who would have thought? And it was real.
Why do you think people identify so strongly with a movie or TV show that they make these pilgrimages to see it or just to take a photo in front of it?
We're seeing in the last decade how strong pop culture really is. Movies have been around for 100 years. We are the generation that grew up watching TV and feeling connected to these characters. Like, Golden Girls, you're watching that every week at your house, and the way the camera's positioned, you feel like you're right there with, B. Arthur and Betty White.
Right.
So you have this sort of connection where it feels like family, it feels like home. Some people may want to visit the Eiffel Tower. More people might want to see the Roseanne house or the Fresh Prince house. It's the way we connect more in definitely recent years.
People, it would probably be wonderful to live in a famous house, but in your exploration, you found that some homeowners do not feel that way.
Yeah, it really kind of depends on how popular your house is or what the fans' interaction is. Mm-hmm. Like Friday, people are smoking cannabis outside the house all the time.
Right.
Home Alone, it's a constant of people coming over because it's such a yearly tradition to watch.
Right.
Full House, there's this Full House is by far the biggest. I mean, it's the White House, Graceland, and Full House.
Really? That's the Mecca. That's the one.
Yeah. Well, because there wasn't a time in which there wasn't a sea of people outside the Full House house.
The new documentary, The House From, it's on Fubo, Maximum Effort channel. For those that don't know, Ryan Reynolds channel. Most VOD platforms. And of course, you can get yours at Apple TV. Any other places out there that I'm missing?
Well, yeah, just the
everywhere.
Amazon, the Google Play, usually wherever you can legally download movies, it should be there.
Thank you so much. You're awesome, and the movie's amazing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
There's no place like home, and Tommy sure proved that today. And if you want to hear more of our great conversation, visit right here. I'm Doreen Taylor with The Scene with Doreen here at the Daily Flash each week. See you next time.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. In today's Financially Speaking, we are talking about capital. For small businesses, this means everything, but did you know a good relationship might be the only thing holding you back from taking your success to the next level? Here to talk to us about it is Amanda Webster. She's the COO of Fund and Grow. Hey, Amanda, welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me.
So why are relationships with lenders crucial for securing business credit compared to, let's say, personal credit?
So personal credit's super rigid. It's a computer, it's an algorithm, it's completely based on your credit score, and what it is, right? In business, it's very different. It's going to look at those pieces, but there's actual people making decisions. So like anything else, people love relationships. So if you build relationships with your bankers, with your lenders, with underwriters, they're actually able to override what the computer says. They're able to actually extend additional capital to you based on the information you're providing them. And that can be a huge piece to being able to get from one tier to the next into the millions of dollars in funding.
I think there could be a sense of fear or even shame when it comes to finances or the success or where you are with your entrepreneurship or your small business. So what strategies can business owners use to demonstrate they're a reliable investment to lenders and show them with confidence that they're reliable?
You know, getting a business banking account set up and really having a regular schedule of deposits and being able to show long-term, and long-term can be as little as 6 months, that you have healthy habits within the banking industry, that you're actually paying your bills on time, that you are having consistent deposits, that you have a business plan, sharing that with them. Anything you can give them to show how this capital is actually going to help you, that's where they're going to give you the most money. But being able to show a history of actual banking on the business side, they're not going to care about your personal. Building that relationship is key. So making sure you're banking with a good, reputable lender on your business banking account.
It's a matter of like an old-fashioned paper trail. I guess you could call it an e-trail nowadays. But you know, that communication is so important. How can communicating on a regular basis your business goals and needs influence a lender's decision to extend your credit?
Like anything else, the bank wants to make sure that they're going to get a return on their investment in you. And the best way to show that is how you're going to make it happen. What is your plan? What is your strategy? What is your business model, whether it's a product or a service, kind of your timeline, giving them as much information as possible. You're basically advocating and selling yourself to this banker or this underwriter. So making sure you're telling an entire story, put a little emotion in it, never hurts, but being able to show them that you are in it, that you're putting all of your skin in the game for it is going to make them give you the risk tolerance that they need.
Yeah, I think it's tough in this day and age when we do everything online for the most part, and banking for that matter too, to have that personal one-on-one space with a banker, with a lender. What role does consistent credit use and repayment plans play in strengthening trust with lenders?
So kind of like personal, there's business commercial credit reports for the business EIN side, and they are almost always made up of your payment history. You don't have 30-day windows to be able to consider it late like you do on your personal side. You pay your business debt 1 day late, you're 1 day late. They see that. So paying it early, paying it consistently, always making sure you're ahead of the schedule on your business loans and funding is going to build that up. And they're looking at it. It's in the background. A lot of business owners are not familiar with it. And that is going to be key, because if that doesn't look good, they're not going to lend to you. They're actually given a little score on how much they should lend to you based on your actual repayment habits.
And that score is different than, let's say, your personal credit score. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, that score only goes from 0 to 100. If you're looking at, say, Experian on the commercial side, and a 79-80 is about where you want to be on a minimum. And so that is almost always just made up on the repayment schedule and your healthy habits with the lending you've already been extended.
Good to have the good personal credit score, but also if you're an entrepreneur, that business credit score is so important. Amanda Webster, thank you so much. For more information, we will post all this on our website at dailyflashshow.com.
Alrighty, as we move on and move forward throughout this show, everyone deserves to actually feel safe and protected in their own homes, yet some communities are more at risk for fatal home fires. One brand is on a mission to protect every moment for everyone. Here's the story.
Parents find it hard to imagine that they'll ever experience a fire in their home. In fact, 40% of people believe they're more likely to win the lottery or get struck by lightning. However, more than 1,000 people have died in house fires across North America this year, including children, and this is cause for alarm. Kidde, North America's #1 fire safety brand, has launched the Living Jingle as part of their Cause for Alarm campaign. It's an emotional plea and call to action directly from the voice voices of children who've been impacted by house fires. The children featured in the film have also detailed their deeply personal house fire survival stories in short videos. The living jingle and house fire survivor stories are a reminder that house fires can happen to anyone, and they're available to watch on Kidda's YouTube channel. This is the third year of Kidda's Cause for Alarm campaign, which supports vulnerable communities who are at higher risk of fire-related incidents. Through partnerships with organizations such as National Parent-Teacher Association, Cause for Alarm helps address gaps in education and access to fire safety measures by providing resources and life-saving devices. This year, until the end of November, buying a Kidda alarm will prompt a $1 contribution for alarm donations up to $1 million in total retail value to communities in need. Now let's talk about fire safety. According to the NFPA, 3 out of 5 home fire deaths occur in properties without working smoke alarms. As such, it's important to check your batteries and test your smoke alarms at home to ensure they're in working order, and discuss with your children about what to do when they hear beeps that last. Visit causefораlarm.org to find activities for families, including a toolkit of worksheets, a children's book, a kid-friendly podcast, and more.
Hey guys, I want to make sure I encourage you to head over to our YouTube page and check out my little segment called Preview Review, where I give you a sneak peek and speak geek. So right now, a big thing that I'm going to be looking at is the Food and Wine Classic at the Swan and Dolphin. It's their 15th year. It's an amazing event at an amazing resort that's about to go under a huge $250 million renovation, which it's kind of needed, but it has the greatest smell in the world when you walk in the doors. So I'm hoping they don't get rid of that, but it's an amazing event, and right now all the charity proceeds this year are going to the Wounded Warrior Project, so you're going to check that out over there. I have an interview with a veteran who tells me about it. Also coming up, we are doing previews of Gladiator 2. We are getting to check out the Red 1 movie with The Rock, so we'll have to see how that one goes. Make sure you head over, check it out on our YouTube page. Just search Preview Review.
Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. Mitch, Matt, and Andrea all hanging out here with you. Now, and when we take this shot here, it's always hard for the camera guys because Matt's much taller than both of us here.
6'2".
You're 6'2".
You're 6'2", okay.
And we were talking right before that, and I had this shot, always tall. But I don't know if you guys saw the election right after Trump had walked in, and Barron Trump walked in. And I didn't know who he was first because we hadn't really seen him in, 4 years or so.
Yeah,
right?
and they keep him kind of privately behind the scenes. He's 6'9".
6'9".
He towers over Trump and Melania. Trump is, I think, 6'3".
Yeah, Trump's already a tall guy.
He's a tall guy.
So how tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
6'4". All right, so put your hand 5 inches above your head. That is how
tall he is.
That's maybe not that tall. Take your hand down. That's a little too much.
You're talking about right here? That's 6'6". I don't like your hand over my head.
6'9".
So take it like 6'9".
He's about here.
So yeah, and when they first took the shot of him, it had Melania and Donald, and then I thought it was a picture of Barron right behind him. Now, I'm not making fun of him. I just had not seen him in 4 years. I didn't know who he was.
Well, I think the last time you saw him, he was a younger kid, and then all of a sudden, now he's 18, and he's grown, and he's 6'9".
You look at the camera, you just see my neck.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about. That's the issue with that. That's
because you're right, because he was just sort of in the, and they couldn't make the camera wide enough to get his height in.
So that's great. I mean, and it reminds me of Giuliani's kid. Remember when he was making fun of making faces when he was doing the press thing?
It's always fun when they have the kids out there because they're like, I don't know how to act or what to do.
They don't know what to do.
Was it Prince George or with the royals? Like he's always acting up. They're like, stop it, this is being kids, but
have fun.
And we never know what to do with James when he'll walk in. We know, all right, what's James?
Taller, wider.
That's what it is.
All together.
Ladies love cool James.
They do. They love cool James.
It's always been because we always talked about like Clintons with Chelsea and then Amy Carter growing up was always a thing. The child when they're young like that, but they did the Trumps did a big. Really, you never really saw him come to the spotlight.
No.
Whereas like the other ones, right? Now, I don't think either as well.
He's now at NYU, I believe. He's attending college at NYU in New York, and I think he has, bodyguards and protection every day. Clearly, he has to. But he was really, I think, instrumental, and I think Trump has said this in getting Trump to do a lot of the podcasts with Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn, and a number of those. And they're saying that the next election will likely be driven by podcasters.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we'll be looking up to Barron no matter what we say, no however you feel politically. Everybody wave bye. We'll do a Beverly Hillbillies here. Everybody, y'all have a great one. Take care. We'll see you when we look.
We love you.
This is a hell of a family.